What is going on, guys? This is Pinzo back with another video today, and what I have for you guys today is a guide. Now, this guide will not apply to all of you, but judging by the title, I'm guessing you can know who is going to click on this video. So, for those of you who don't know, I am a mid to high level diamond player in Smite, and I have more hours in it than I'm willing to say. I've played a lot of Smite, okay? So when I tried out Predecessor, which is a MOBA that looks and feels a lot like Smite, I was expecting it to play like Smite, and that was a big misconception. It plays a lot like League of Legends or Dota. Just the actual way that you play the game is not like Smite at all. While the third person is very similar, some of the abilities are similar, a lot of things are different, and this guide is for those people who are trying to transfer from Smite into a more Paragon-like MOBA. I will have another one of these videos out for Fault because the games are very different, believe it or not. So I will have another guide out sometime next week for a Smite guide to Fault. But for now, let's get into the Predecessor. Any gameplay you are seeing in the background is from the Predecessor Closed Alpha weekend. If you want to see more of the gameplay, go follow me on Twitch. I'll be streaming it again this upcoming weekend, so be there. But let's get into it. So guys, with a sort of lengthy intro, sorry about that, but we are going to try and make this video brief. Number one thing you need to know is about last hitting. In Smite, you get some gold without last hits. In Predecessor, you get exactly 0 gold without last hitting the enemy minions. Just something you need to keep in mind. It will take a couple games to get used to, and it will take a lot of games to get good at. Just something that you need to be aware of. And going along with that is your abilities. You are not using your abilities to clear waves, at least not early game. You are using your abilities to fight early game, and you're saving your mana for those abilities in a fight. Laning, you are basic attacking enemy creeps, and when they get low, you're making sure you get the last hit, otherwise you will fall behind in farm very, very quickly, and you will not come back from it. You're going to get bullied. After the laning phase, you are going to be looking towards objectives. The first objective you're going to be looking at is the Fangtooth. This is very similar to Gold Fury, however, in addition to a team-wide gold buff, it gives you 300 gold on kill. It gives you a team-wide power buff. Now, this is pretty unique. I hadn't seen this in another MOBA, but it gives you 12 power the first time you kill it, and this is a permanent power buff. The rest of the game, you just have 12 more power. This makes a really big difference. The earlier you kill Fangtooth, the better this buff gets. It's a very decent amount of power. It's like a quarter or a third of an item. So just something to keep in mind, that power buff is there in addition to the gold you get. As the game goes on, these buffs get bigger. You get more power. You get some movement speed, stuff that actually matters. The more Fangtooths you kill, the bigger your lead becomes. After Fangtooth, you're going to be looking to the other side of the map at Orb Prime. It's basically just Fire Giant. You get a power buff. You get out of combat regen. And then in addition to that, the main difference is that in an aura around you, you buff your minions. Your minions get faster, stronger, and tankier, and this just allows you to push incredibly effective. As long as you're grouped up with your minions, a wave of minions just kind of claps everything in its path, so just something to note that if the enemy has OP, be careful from those minions. They are really, really strong. Other than that, OP is basically Fire Giant. You're using it as a, hey, let's take Orb Prime and then back, get our items, and we'll end. That's kind of the strat with OP. And then after OP, the last thing that I have to talk about is team comps. In Smite, support and tank are synonymous. They're usually the same character. They're usually the same playstyle. That's how it is in Smite. It's not the same in Predecessor, really at all. Your support can be a frontliner, but usually it's someone who sits with your team and buffs your team in a fight. Take Muriel for an example. She is a, air quotes, support, but she's very squishy herself, and she supports by giving your team shields. To take damage. She has a different support playstyle than Smite. That's the number one role that you're going to find differences in my opinion. Carry is played very similarly. Sit in the backline, don't die. Mages, your middle lane is going to be played very similarly. You're going to sit in the backline, get your damage off. You're probably going to die, but get your damage off first. Solo lane, you're building very tanky, and out of the jungle, most junglers you will see building hybrid in Predecessor. A full damage assassin-like playstyle is just not very feasible right now in Predecessor. It might be when some more characters get added to the game, but as of right now, you are not looking at a full damage assassination type playstyle. So guys, those are the 3 main things that I have for you guys. Last hitting, it's something you have to get used to. It will take a couple of games. Just stick with it. As soon as you get good at it, you will notice a vast difference in how well you play. Getting a lead is very easy. You don't even have to have kills to have a lead in this game. So just keep that in mind. Don't be spamming your abilities, just not worth it. Objectives, Fangtooth is really good, but it's tanky. Make sure your team is there to kill it with you. It's not something you can really solo at any point in the game. And OP is just Fire Giant. That's all I would think of it as. And then team comps are just make sure that you're not thinking your support is your frontline and that you have frontline built into your team somewhere else. But with all that said, guys, that's really all of my Smite guide to Predecessor. You just have to make sure that you're getting into the game and making sure that you are adapting as you play. It will take a couple matches to get good at it. But that's all I've got for you guys. So as always, if you enjoyed, please do subscribe. I will have another Smite guide to Fault coming out sometime next week once I get my hands on Fault. So just be ready for that. And as always, guys, I've been Pinzo. This video's done, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.